Join an epic exploration of the Bible. Discover what this book says about you and your life. Start your journey today with Inwit Education.
Do not be intimidated. I became a Christian in 1986, although I had been a seeker for several years before that. Reading a Bible and later I started attending church, but to start with there was much I didn't understand. I remember asking a Christian friend to explain the language that the Christians around me were always using. It almost felt like a lingua Christi, a kind of private Christian vocabulary. At the time, that friend happened to be studying biblical Greek. Looking back, I think this can be a significant barrier for people approaching Christianity for the first time. Most people simply want to understand the social group they are trying to join. But when they encounter unfamiliar words, technical terms, or church traditions, it can feel like entering a conversation halfway through. If you attend a more formal church, perhaps a higher Anglican church or a Roman Catholic one, you may even encounter Greek or Latin phrases used in prayers or theology. For someone new, this can feel overwhelming. In fact, I have already made this mistake myself in the previous 2 lessons by using the word epistles. That simply means letters. Several books in the New Testament are letters written by early Christian leaders to churches or individuals. However, it is not by ritual or rite, ceremony, or by complicated or foreign words that God calls us and makes a difference to our lives and our outlook. And most certainly not what other people think. Institutions, churches, and religions are built by people, and all people are fallible and imperfect. We live in a broken world that will never be fixed, but living in it is different from being part of it. That distinction may be subtle, but it is vital, and if you are reading or listening to this, you want to know. You are a seeker. Sometimes Christians forget how strange our vocabulary can sound to someone hearing it for the first time. Jesus did not usually teach in complicated theological language. Instead, he often taught in parables, simple stories drawn from everyday life. Farmers, seeds, vineyards, fishermen, lost coins, family arguments. These were things ordinary people could recognize immediately. The stories made the teaching accessible, but they also left room for people to walk away if they wished. Faith was never forced. Those who wanted to understand could reflect on what they had heard. Those who did not could simply dismiss it. Jesus even instructed his disciples that if a town rejected their message, they were to shake the dust from their feet and move on. Faith is not something that can be forced into a person by argument or pressure. Jesus never wanted his disciple to get bitter or resentful that people didn't want to listen. They should not stress or take anything from that situation, just move on. There will be people in the next town that need to hear what they have to say, and the disciple should not be weighed down by rejection, not even a grain of sand. God does not build high barriers to understanding, but neither does he prevent anyone from walking away. At the same time, the New Testament contains a sober warning about pretending to believe. There is a difference between someone who genuinely struggles to understand and someone who outwardly claims belief while inwardly rejecting it. If you are put under pressure to outwardly pretend to believe when you don't, then things will be worse for you and the person that pressured you. Jesus spoke strongly about hypocrisy. He warned about what he called blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. Faith, in other words, cannot be manufactured by outward behavior alone. It is something that must take root within a person. When reading the Bible for yourself, what should you do if you are beginning to read the Bible and you encounter unfamiliar words, ideas, or passages you do not understand? My advice is very simple: do not stop reading. Strange words will appear. Cultural references will appear. Questions will arise. That's normal. One helpful habit is to keep a notebook while you read. When something puzzles you, simply write it down. You do not have to solve the question immediately. Later, you might. Ask someone you trust. Search for an explanation. Consult a commentary. Or ask the author of this study. But do not allow unanswered questions to stop your progress. The Bible is not meant to be approached with fear or anxiety about whether you are doing it the right way. It is meant to be read, explored, and reflected upon. Over time, the larger picture begins to emerge. Understanding grows gradually, often in ways you do not notice at first. So keep reading. Faith, like the mustard seed that Jesus spoke about, begins small. But if it is nurtured, it grows. I am ending each lesson with a song I have created, a different one each time. This one is strengthened by grace. I think that this is appropriate, because, what is grace? If you are struggling to understand the Bible or these lessons, don't beat yourself up about it. Don't give up, be kind to yourself and say, if I don't understand yet, then I will later. Grace is about working with something, or someone, broken, and still being able to see value in it, or them, or even yourself.
So many voices pulling at my name, tables full of customs, but my heart stays the same. They offer shallow comfort, rules upon my plate, but I am still empty if I don't taste your grace. Strengthen my heart by grace, not by what I touch or taste. Hold me when the wind starts changing, when strange words come and my faith feels shaken. Bind me to your grace. Teachings like a river, twisting in the dark, promising a shortcut to a softer heart. But you wrote it clearly, love that cannot hurry, bread that keeps on giving, water that I thirst for. Strengthen my heart by grace, not by what I touch or taste. Hold me when the wind starts changing, when strange words come and my faith feels shaken. Bind me to your grace. If they call me foolish for trusting in your name, I will stand here pleading. Let my soul remain, not carried away, held by unchanging grace. Strengthen my heart by grace, not by what I touch or taste. Hold me when the wind starts changing, when strange words